Recording
Cool.
in progress. I
Awesome.
think we're doing it.
All right, John. Well, thanks for joining today for the live. I am super happy you're here. Can you hear the air conditioning in the background? Is it making it
I
noise?
I can't.
Great. Cool, because I was suffocating. I'm in the trailer. Everybody as usual. Thank you. For those that are not live with us, I'm gonna go ahead and just remind you guys that I'm Laurie Lawless of Shelter Behavior Integrations, and my whole goal is to help us move more behavioral facets into shelter operations. And one of those things is obviously when we're looking at welfare, is thinking about low stress handling and making sure that we're doing the best we can to help animals in every way. And I met John at a conference this year and was absolutely fascinated by not only his awesome equipment that he makes and also carries of other brands and products, but his story in and of itself. So, John, I don't know if you could give like a quick background on how you got into making shelter equipment or field equipment too. It's not obviously just sheltering, and then tell us a little bit about some of your best recommended products for us that are handling dogs every day.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is John Peavler. I'm the owner of Humane Innovations, which is a small business I run with my wife out in Western Pennsylvania. I'm in a very old barn, which is why it's very hard to get a background. Plus, I have so much equipment out here; it's hard to get a background anyway. But I started my animal welfare career in 2004 in Kuwait, which is not the likeliest of places where you might jump into an animal welfare career. But I was working as a military contractor, and I met some dogs, and they were kind of cool. And then I started taking care of them, and then they replicated themselves substantially as they want to do. I mean, I didn't know a thing. I wasn't a dog owner or lover or anything. I was just like a guy in a situation with a bunch of animals who were dependent on him. And so one thing kind of led to another, and they became the first dogs in the first animal shelter in Kuwait, which is a really difficult place to do anything with animals. If you care about animals, it's not the number one place you'd want to be. Impactful, but like no regulatory environment. There are not shelters. There is not still to this day not a government welfare program, management program. There's no animal control. There are more vet hospitals now, so at least like medicine exists, but it's private sector and it's expensive. Like it's just nothing for shelters. So it was pretty quickly apparent that sheltering was like a black hole for us. Sheltering is not the solution that you kind of want to like throw into whatever random place that doesn't have anything. So I started looking upstream, like how do we reduce the flow of animals into the shelter? So I started looking at like, okay, so TNR sounds like a thing. This was now 2006 or seven, something like that. TNR wasn't that big of a thing, especially dog TNR yet. So I kind of learning about it. So brought it to the government. I'm like, hey, here's a solution. Like this is the thing you should do. They're like, cool, thanks. Bye.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, all right, well, I'm not going to start doing surgery. I'm not a vet. I don't have any aspirations to be one. Bless them all. The thing I can figure out how to do is how to catch these dogs. If we can't catch these dogs that are running around the streets, then there's nothing we can do with them. So I guess long story short, I spent a lot of time learning to catch some really difficult dogs, like dogs that are harmed in a lot of different and terrible ways in that country. So they just tend to be really, really shy of people,
Mm.
by and large. So learned how to catch really difficult dogs, and obviously you pick up a lot of skills and a lot of learn how to use a lot of equipment. I'm just a very open-minded, objective kind of person. So I was just always looking at what exists and then how can we use it in a way that is effective, but also that may be good for the animal or better for the animal, as it were. So I did all that, started getting into international disaster response work in 2009. By 2015, we moved to Vermont. 2014, I think we moved to Vermont. I started working for, at the time, HSUS, HSI, doing dog meat stuff in South Korea and dog fighting and cockfighting disaster stuff across the US. So picked up more skills. And then in 2018, my wife and I both simultaneously took jobs in at San Diego Humane Society. So she was running a couple of their shelters. I took on their disaster program and built that out for a few years. And then started working for a couple other agencies, doing a lot of work in Ukraine and then Turkey, a little bit in Saudi Arabia. Just sort of, I've got a lot of global experience at this point. So I sort of focus on three things in my company. One is manufacturing equipment. If I said three things, then equipment is one of them. But I manufacture equipment. I have equipment manufactured for me, and then I sell from other brands as well. We provide training, particularly in the disaster sector and in animal handling and capture. Animal handling and capture really is the big one that we do. And then lastly is consultancy. I work with a group of international consultants that specialize in a variety of different things. So just depending on what the customer needs, we can do assessments top to bottom of all programs or specific programs. We can work on integrating new tools and equipment and techniques into how we handle or do operations or something like that. So yeah, so I've been doing this full time in the private sector for a little over a year now. I'm doing it part time since 2014. I started manufacturing leashes. It's kind of where we started. And like I said, I'm in my 200-year-old barn here in Western Pennsylvania, which is where we manufacture leashes and custom electronic triggers for sort of advanced capture traps. And then we store stuff that's manufactured by others. So that's the quick version. Was that quick enough?
Yeah, I think that was fine because I just realized that we actually started a few minutes early. So
Oh, great.
those who missed that can rewatch it because I'm going to repost this in the Facebook group. But yeah, I just looked at the time and I was like, oh, it's not 1:30 at all. So that's fine. And I
Good
love,
warm up.
yeah, yeah. So this is what I love about your story, though, is that you do have such a broad, awesome, intense background. And, as many of the viewers here know, I also spent time working with dogs from dogfighting populations, puppy mills, hoarding scenarios, and ultimately I did end up working with some of the South Korean dogs, not in South Korea, but here in the US once they were brought here and working on the behavior rehabilitation side of all of those different types of cases. And, from, when you're out in the field and you're capturing, you've gained all that experience, but once they get into the shelter environment for most of those dogs, especially the ones who, as I'm sure the ones in Kuwait as well, they're not used to being on a leash and they're not used to
Yeah.
being handled and they're not used to being asked to walk from, here to there. And the context, the environment can be really stressful. And so I had to learn a lot of ways to adapt what I thought were already relatively strong handling skills going into that job role, into, wow, we have to really continue to adapt and do things that makes this a less stressful experience for the animal because the level of trauma that they're often like enduring, being, we rescue them from where they are in the horrific circumstances, but sometimes the transition into sheltering can be just as traumatizing for them. So yeah, it's your story. I think it just resonates with me so much because we're like those crazy people out there, and most of the people in my Facebook group as well, who are just like, you find that passion and then it just never leaves you. I just think that's
Yeah.
really cool to meet somebody who's been doing this for as long as you have. So yeah, I would love, and I think
Wait, did you just call me old? Is that what just happened?
no,
Oh,
I
that
did
was
not.
really hurtful.
Hold on, you said like 2014. Wait, how old were you? Wait, no, because
Yeah, no,
I,
I'm definitely older than I was. I started 2004. That's
oh,
like
okay, yeah.
21 years. Yeah.
That's a little bit older than me. But I started in this relatively young because I think I was 20 or so my first, like dabble into sheltering. So it's been
Yeah.
about 17, 18 years now. And
Yeah, it would have been 22 when I got out of service, and so somewhere around 23 when this
yeah,
started.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome though. So we kind of started around the same time.
Yeah, no, I was
On
just kidding.
different trajectories. It's funny though, because like one of the first organizations I did do some of the bigger picture, some of that cooler stuff you're doing was 2010 while I was in college. I interned with HSUS, which is the first time I got into doing or working on some of the puppy mill and the dog fighting stuff. And that became a really big thing that I really wanted to help and be part of. And I would say right now, one of the things I feel like I'm missing the most because I'm not involved in that many operations anymore. But yeah, it's really cool. So what I'm thinking would be awesome for my audience here is showcasing some of these tools that you have developed that would help us in the shelter with kind of handling different types of dogs. I know you have a variety of leashes. You're carrying some really cool equipment as far as muzzles. So yeah, tell us a little bit about some of your favorite products that would be great to help
Yeah,
with.
for sure. And I should say that for me, like my approach to animal handling is definitely low stress, like the least aversive method of handling possible, consistent with the situation and needs. And then having as many options as possible, which is hard equipment, yes, but it's also techniques and how do we integrate these things. I was trying to be flexible with things. I try to not box people into like you're only allowed to use these three things. The more tools that you have, the more techniques that you know, the more options you have. And then when you look at a situation like, oh, no, I got an idea for this one, try to give people as many options as possible, both in the shelter and the field. The thing we started with was leashing. I'll start with the first leash I developed was actually at on the dog meat farms, which is what we now call the Rescue Pro. So the basis is this rope, which is really good quality rope. It's made in Bedford, Maine. It's rescue grade rope. It's what firefighters use for stuff. So it keeps this shape really throughout its lifespan. If anything, it's going to get a little bit stiffer with time, not less stiff, which is good because you want it to quickly go on to an animal's head and you want it to keep that shape. So when you are using a slip lead, that matters a lot. So you can slip it right over the head and then you've got a good connection point. So the quality of the rope matters a lot. The length, you're looking at 8 feet of rope end to end, but then when you put an animal's head in it, you lose a foot and a half or so. And at the other end, we've got a trigger snap, which is not a common sort of, oh, I forgot I'm on that camera, which is not the most common of leash hardware. Takes a little getting used to, but I specifically use it because it grabs the rope. And once you clip it on, it doesn't slip. Once you've got your hand in it like this, it's not going to move, no matter how hard that animal pulls. I mean, no animal is strong enough to pull this thing and make it slip. So it's going to be a hard connection, which means you can adjust your handle to any size you want. Which means you can make your leash a lot shorter. You could have a 4-foot leash, or you can max it out. You can take that trigger snap and you can connect it to things. Like I've got traps over here, but you can do this with like a chain link fence. You can just clip it and then it's stuck. So you can quickly tether an animal out of the way for whatever reason. If it's an emergency or just like, I need this dog over here for a second,
I
just gives you
didn't
that option.
realize.
And certainly you can go around objects as well and connect back. So you can tether animals wherever you need to. In the field, I have grabbed 2 dogs with 1 leash before, as long as one of them's got a connection point. So you can do 2 at once if that's what you want to do.
I didn't even realize that did that. I had no idea because I haven't gotten a chance to utilize this one yet. So that's an
Yeah.
awesome.
Once you just put it wherever you want, it slips super easily. But once you're in the like I'm handling position, it does not move again. Like
Wow,
it gives you quite a lot of flexibility.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and you can obviously connect this trigger snap to the ring on the dog's neck too, and then you've got, when people call this a figure 8 or a safety
A
lead or whatever,
quick
but and
release. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
you're walking on one end and releasing with the other, and you don't have to reach back in
Yeah.
and put your hands in the bitey zone.
Yeah. What I actually like about the material too, the one that you gave me, even though I'm admitting I haven't really used it yet, because I actually haven't finished
Yeah, that's
shelter for
cool.
a while,
No judgment.
is it's like really nice in the hands and it doesn't necessarily like kind of twist and
Yeah.
get, I don't know. I just really like the quality of the product, and that's why I stopped at your booth initially, was I
Huh?
noticed how great
Yeah,
it was. So,
this is HTP static rope, which means nothing to most people, but it doesn't stretch under load. And we're talking under load. We're talking like you're gonna put 600 pounds on this thing. It's not going to stretch. It just means that it's a little stiffer than a climbing rope. I do use some more traditional climbing ropes as well,
okay.
just as an alternative. So if you want something that is softer, we can get most of the same features. It's not going to keep the shape as much. This
Mhm.
rope is available in 5 colors. It's what they call inherently resistant to UV light and to water, so it's not going to saturate, and it
Cool.
will eventually break down in sun, but not quickly. So it just means that it's really durable.
So
Um,
if dogs pee on it while you have them on a slip lead in the yard, it will like resist the pee.
It will resist the pee, and
I
you
love
can throw it
it.
in a dishwasher. Is how I
Yeah,
recommend cleaning if it's really dirty. Just
interesting.
wash it with the dishes,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you know it's like pretty disinfected at that point.
that's awesome.
Um,
I approve of that. The pee resistant leash. That's just what you should
the-
label it on the website as.
that's right. Maybe that's the first selling point.
Yeah,
Pee
yeah.
resistant, and then good quality leash. And lastly, I get, well, 2 things. One is this cord lock. All that does is just keep that ring from falling off that dog's head. And it's what we call a prusik knot. So it's kind of a specially tied one, but it's a knot used in climbing. It slips really easily. It's just strong enough to keep that from falling. And if you want it to be stronger, you actually spread it out. That
Hmm,
actually makes it stronger. Because
cool.
if you were to clip to this and hold, like it'll hold your body weight. It's that strong. It grabs the rope and it's not going to slip. from this position. So it just gives you a little flexibility there. And you can wear it quite easily. I don't know if my camera's tall enough for me to stand up, but you can go right around your torso. Oh yeah, I can't stand up.
Yep, you can do it.
Come right around your torso and connect back to it, and you've got it kind of out of the way in a harness shape. Or you can, if you don't like that, it's not comfortable or whatever, you can just do two loops over your shoulder and still ready and raring to go, kind of out of the way. Like it gives you a lot of functionality and like where you keep it as well. You could also go around your waist 2 times. It depends on what you like, but because you've got that trigger snap, you've got a way to grab it and just hold it tight.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's one of the challenges I've always had with slip leads too, is they how you put them on and everything, and they kind of can like close up on you, or you can
Yeah.
flip it in backwards. And I usually sometimes will like stick it in my back pocket, so it's cool that you can do a full body wrap with that. Some people can do it. I always used to watch folks who are like wicked skinny be able to do the whole thing, and I'm like, that's not my body type. So I'm interested to try it for sure with this one, so that's so cool.
Yeah, it gives you some options. We spent a lot of time, by we, I mean me, I spent a lot of time trying different materials, different hardware, just seeing like what did I like and what worked the most often, most frequently when I was handling.
Yeah.
And I guess one thing that's worth pointing out, like I don't know how much you're gonna muzzle wrap in a shelter, but there are times when muzzle wrapping makes a lot of sense. And you can muzzle wrap with most leashes, like a thicker like biophane type is going to be hard to do. The thinner leather may be okay, just depend like chain, not so much. But you obviously you can do a normal like around the mouth muzzle
Mhm.
wrap, and that's fine. But what I like to do is less aversive. Is I'll take one little loop and just come up over the muzzle. That way you're not passing your hand over the eyes.
Right.
And when you tighten this up, it kind of grips itself and it's really, really strong. So if you grab inside of the part around the neck and
Mhm.
hold this the sort of the trailing end of the leash, like you have really good control over a dog's head and mouth at this
Yeah.
point. So if you need to then like put them near your face, you're going to pick them up or whatever, and there's still that moment of uncertainty, that gives you, kind of that ability. And because it's round, you can just go right up and over
That is
and then
so cool.
tighten that up.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
really smooth. I did that. I was doing a training with Jenna Kitty from Dogs Trust. We were in Tbilisi, Georgia, in Central Europe or Central Asia, I guess, in May. And I'd spent a day training these folks and went out in the field with a couple of them. And like I'm not sure what they were going to do. I don't think it was going to be great for the dog, but kind of got the leash on, and like they don't normally use leashes, so they were kind of like experimenting with hand capture. And I was like, let me step in real quick, and I just kind of did my thing, low to the ground, out of profile, just tried to lower the intensity of the whole thing, and introduced the leash, kind of interacted a little bit, and put that wrap on, and the dog kind of just did this for a second and then just kind of settled into it. I was able to pick it up and carry it out, and they were like, "Whoa, we've never seen that before." It was just like this moment where, yeah, that really works. Trust me,
Yeah,
like
that's awesome.
it'd be much smoother. Yeah, so that's the Rescue Pro. Again, I think on the website you'll find it in 5 colors for sure. I do have pink rope and a blue rope right now too. There's like a custom option where you can choose more things, and then there's like the product listing option. That's the product we sell the most of, really. I don't know. There's at least 1,000 of these going out the door a year.
Okay.
So very, very popular, both in the field and the shelter.
Maybe you
Um,
can make a blue, like a teal and purple one for me. That would be really cool.
I haven't seen a teal and
Cool.
purple rope, but basically, if we can find the rope, we can make it.
All right. So this should match my hair and my t-shirt,
We
basically.
we can have a shelter behavior integrations custom leash. That'd be cool. Just for you and your customers. That's
I
fine.
love
We just got
that.
to find that rope,
All
or
right.
we can custom it, but we have to get 10,000 feet to start.
All right. I don't know what
There's
that costs,
a
but
lot of leashes.
give me a little while to make that
Yeah, all
investment.
right. We'll build up the audience.
We'll talk about that
All right. So
offline.
next in the lineup is the what we call a Shelter Pro. Like this was kind of designed for more the shelter side, but it just depends on what you like. It's just a regular handle. But it's the same rope and still get that feature. But on this end, it's just a regular handle. I do make the handles like pretty big. That way, if you're in a cold place, you got to wear gloves or whatever. Like it gives you a little flexibility there. nothing super stunning other than that. Like this is just the slip lead version. So if you just want a basic slip lead, that's your comfort zone. We've got you covered there also.
Can you show the locking mechanism again with that knot that you've tied and how to make it stronger? Yeah,
Yeah, so it's I don't know how close I can get.
that's good.
It's just a prusik knot, so it slides when you grab the edge of it,
Mhm.
and then it's strong enough just sitting there that that ring's not going to fall past it.
Right.
Like it can get all kind of jumbled up to where this will go through it. That'll usually happen like in your pocket or whatever, like some weird time. Slip it right back over. If you spread it out, it's
Mhm.
actually stronger than when it's together.
Okay.
It's gonna be harder for that ring or any dog to move it. You don't really have to do that. Like you don't really need to think about it, but it's just like
Right.
it's a fact. Usually you just slide it and slide it.
Okay.
This will be the thing that wears out first. Like this will get tighter, and you just got to kind of like work it and make sure you keep it clean. Like if it's getting dirty and then it's drying out, it's getting wet and it's drying out,
Okay.
it'll get kind of crusty. But I've
Yeah.
gotten, I think I had one return one time on one leash, and that was a manufacturing error. Like they're too good. They
Yeah.
last. They really do. Once you feel it in your hand, like you know the quality. Like
Yeah.
it's immediately apparent.
Oh yeah, I can feel it for sure. So
And
cool.
this is one I just came out with, so I'm calling it the Shelter Walker Pro. But it's a regular leash snap on this end, just like you'd see on any leash. So if you're connecting to a collar or a harness or a halter or whatever, on the other end we've got the trigger snap from the Rescue Pro. So we've got that adjustable handle right off the bat, which is fine. Like if you're just walking with a handle, that's what you do. You just adjust it the same way as the Rescue Pro. But if you want to wrap it around your waist, so this comes listed as a eight, I think an 8, 9, and 10 foot. If you want to come around your waist, that changes the angle of connection. And if the dog pulls a lot, it's going to get tight. So we've got a special prusik knot with a ring built into it. So you connect to that, and that's not going to slip. So then if you want to go hands free, just have it around your waist, then you've got a strong connection point and you can walk the dog. So it's circumstantially up to you whether that makes sense. But
Yeah.
it gives you a little more flexibility. It's not going to tighten up. You don't have to use that. You can just use the adjustable handle. If
Sure.
you've got like protocol says you don't connect yourself to dogs or whatever, it just gives you
Yeah.
flexibility. You still have that option to tether. You can still connect to a fence or whatever. It
Yeah,
gives
the
you
back tie. I think the back tying ability is cool because I think we've all been kind of caught outside with a dog who
yeah.
their behavior shifts relatively quickly, and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah, their behavior shifts, or you got to go deal with a different emergency, and
Oh
your
yeah,
dog is
that
like,
too.
"Oh, I don't have time." Yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah, like that dog gets loose in the parking lot or whatever. You're like, "Oh, okay, you stay here for a
I
second."
had I had a dog one time. I was like walking. It was from like a bigger case, and I was brought in with one other person to help some of the dogs get out of the kennel that had been kind of they didn't have handlers yet that were able to get them out in a couple days. So I was like walking behind this building and I was by myself, which he didn't show any real indication of being like super sketchy until he was walking behind the building and he went to go under a bush and sniff it. And I didn't realize until he was under there that it was a pricker bush. And so
Mm,
as he started backing out, he got really uncomfortable because the branches started stabbing him and he like
yeah.
pulled himself out and just froze and turned very slowly and made very scary hard eye contact. And I was like, oh boy. And I remember just
Yeah.
you just get into those situations. And I was like, luckily, it was a really well run shelter. We had walkie talkies. So even though I was by myself out behind the building, I still had contact with somebody. And I'm, kind of like on my shoulder, like ready to call for help. But luckily, I was able to de escalate him by just talking real smooth and being like, hey, buddy, I'm so sorry. No eye contact. And like,
Mm,
why don't we just keep moving? It's gonna be fine. But if I had had something happen there to have a leash that I could have gone to a tree and quickly back tied or something, because I was just using a regular slip lead, and I
yeah.
don't, I would have been able to do something for my safety. I always carry the like citronella spray and the pet corrector and those things, but he was a big boy. He was probably like
Sure.
a
Yeah.
75, 80 pound dog. So I really love the fact that your slip leads incorporate the ability to do some of that back tying and not just the slip leads, but your leashes and all of the different tools you have. So
Yeah, I think it's so important to have options. And
Yeah,
I mean, your leash is like the most important thing that you have. Like you use it the most of all the stuff that you've got. The more things it can do, the more things you can do.
right.
So we tried to incorporate features, but not make it like really heavy where like metal's
Yeah,
going to smack you or something.
yeah.
Um, so with that said, if you don't see something you think should exist, we're happy to make that too. We're always open to input. We take both parts of our name seriously, so the innovations part is also important, and we are trying to make better equipment at a reasonable price. So if there's something you're like, "Oh, I wish they made this thing," well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
We're open to it.
I'm encouraging
Um,
people in the comments to shout any ideas out if they have them.
yeah, cool. All right, last two leashes. I've
Okay.
got one more that I didn't make. It's like a hands-free walking system with a swivel. So if you've got like really high energy dogs and you go take them for a run at lunch or something, it's got a built-in stainless steel swivel, so it's not going to bind up no matter how much the dog spins. That's kind
Revolution.
of cool. It's more like a custom thing because we got to make sure it's going to fit your torso.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's the thing. That's the one I didn't have any left for this. I don't know if I sent you a sample. I'm not sure. Well, I
I
don't. I don't have any.
might have. I'll have to look. I don't think
Yeah.
so. I don't think I got one of those, but
Okay. Anyway, so this second to last one is the what we call the dual control, just because it's a regular leash on one end, the regular snap, and on the same end, there's just a free running stainless steel ring. If you can
mm-hmm.
see that, so you can connect to that ring and use it as a slip lead. So it gives you
Okay.
both regular leash and slip lead ability. So
Okay.
that way, whatever dog you're faced with, and we make a larger prusik knot for this just because normally there's two pieces of rope inside of the ring. Here there's one, so we want to make sure it doesn't fall past it, at least not very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's just bigger. And then
Awesome.
regular handle on the other end. And then last but not least, regular leash.
Wow.
That's,
Fancy.
yeah, fancy.
I do like the
Definitely
blue.
very strong. Yeah. So that's most of the color that we
Cool.
normally have. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, that's all the colors. Five styles, five colors. They're
Nice.
all available in all five colors. And then we do marginally custom colors. If you want like basically at least 10 for your organization, we'll consider finding a color that would match. Um, if that's important to you, or if you just want softer rope, like we've always got some softer rope in house, just not as many colors. So
Cool.
if you don't see exactly what you want on the website, just reach out. We'll do what we can to accommodate. We're definitely small enough to be nimble like that.
Cool.
So that's leashes. Any questions about leashes?
Nobody's got any questions, but we
Cool.
have quite a few people in here. Oh, no, there's a question, Krista. I
Yep.
knew it. I knew you'd come in with a question. I love it. Thank you. With all the leashes, and they all seem amazing, which one would be suggested to be the most versatile within the shelter setting?
I still think the Rescue Pro, like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's called that because I built it doing field work. But I work on both sides a lot. Like next week, I'll be with Cabot Animal Services in Arkansas, spending half my time with their shelter staff and half my time with their field staff. I'll be carrying one leash and it's going to work great for both settings. The only difference is like if you need a regular clip on something, then you might want a leash that just has a regular clip. Like if you're only walking dogs with collars and harnesses, most sheltered folks are happy with the Rescue Pro slip lead one end, and it's got the trigger snap the other end. So it's not like you can't use it to connect to collars and leashes, but then your handle becomes the slip lead, which is less comfortable, if that makes sense. So the Rescue Pro is by far the most popular leash
Okay.
and the most versatile. Yeah,
Krista says, thank you so much.
you're welcome. And we didn't talk about the sure tethers, and I got to get a gentle leader for my fake dog here, or a harness. I have harnesses. I meant to grab one when I went to grab lunch. I think you've got one. So these are just designed to connect to your harness, and then connect forward to your collar, or from your collar up to your harness. That way you've got two points of contact with your dog. We just started making these based on Laurie's input.
Mhm.
Um, so if you want to back tie your harness to your collar, or your collar to a gentle leader, then you've got two points of connection.
Yeah.
We're going to work on making a smaller version as well. This is really for a medium to big size dog, what
Yeah.
we've got in house.
I will say the other benefit to those, which is why one of the bigger reasons, other than safety, safety is obviously the number one, and it prevents a dog from, instead of having to double leash a dog, you can just have one leash connected to two different things. So Kathy, yeah, we have them. John's got them now, so you can definitely get some. The other thing that I see often in shelters is instead of doing two leashes, they'll take the carabiner and clip maybe either an easy walk or a freedom harness, and they take that and they clip it up to the collar. And from a behavioral perspective, for me as a behavior person, is that does two things. One, it usually changes how the function of the harness was supposed to work. So if it's supposed to have a martingale feature and you're clipping it to the collar, it can only pull so far. And then the second piece is now you're adding pressure to the neck anytime they're pulling on the harness. So we're removing some of that fear-free, force-free, low stress, whatever you want to call it, feature. So being able to still have the collar and the harness independent of each other, but clipped for safety. So if they either back out of the collar, or they back out of the harness, they're still connected in the other way. So that is why I really advocate for these. And
Yeah.
I told John that he should make them, and he did, and that's super cool. So yeah.
Yeah, in less than a week, I made
Yeah,
that
you
product.
did. And I just sold some to a local shelter here. And in the past I have advocated for them to be at other shelters, and they all say it's a game
Yeah.
changer. So
And additionally, like when you're doing that, you're spending a bunch of time doing something with the dog because it's on the dog at that point.
yep.
It's much better to connect the tether to the harness while the harness is over here, and then that's less
Mhm.
weird contact with the dog that
Yeah.
is of some concern.
They usually what we've done at some of the shelters is just connect it and leave it on the harnesses. So all you have to do is put the harness on the
Right.
dog, and then you just clip it to their collar ring, and then you're all set. So
Yeah. Then you're not all up in their face
yeah.
working with some janky carabiner or
So
something.
thank you, John, for making those, because I'm excited to
Uh-huh.
be able
Yeah.
to
You're
bring
welcome.
some when I go
I'll
on
see.
site
I'll see if
shelter.
I can find it in teal and purple.
Yes, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate
That's going
that.
to be a tall order, especially in cord. These are for big dogs. I can only see half of your question. These are specifically for big dogs. The ones that I've currently got, I'm trying to make some that are for smaller dogs. These are a bit heavy for something in the like 10-pound range. But if you're 30 plus pounds, this is fine. They're not going
Yeah,
to notice it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
You literally
working
made
length
them.
of about, what's
I
that?
was gonna say you made them for me in like a week, so I think you had just kind of made them with what you had on hand, but you're gonna
I had to
be
order the cord, but everything else
okay.
I had on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a nice thing of doing the in-house manufacturing. All right, so next up, I was going to talk about gloves, and I'm really excited because this is, I mean, more or less the debut. I threw up a quick video of this on my personal Facebook and had some interest. I had a rushed batch because Cabot had pre-ordered some, and I was like, I told my manufacturer like I really need some. Like I pre-sold them, and I'm supposed to teach them about them next week. So they rushed me some. I don't have a lot in stock. But this is the newest dog specific handling glove. It looks kind of crazy. It looks like Darth Vader lost his
It
arm or something.
sure does, John.
But the focus really was on having a lot of dexterity in your hand, not unlimited dexterity, because we're always balancing how well can we feel things with how much protection are we getting. But you can see that the hand is quite flexible. I have good use of my fingers. I can do fairly small things. I can work with leashes because we focused on like getting that good fit along the hand. Along the arm, we've got padding, Kevlar, and there's a big sheet of plastic on either side. So if for whatever reason you're about to take a hard bite, like you want to take that bite along your arm, that plastic is going to not only, I mean, really prevent most punctures from most animals, but also distribute the force of that blow. So instead of a bunch of bruising right where the teeth make contact, it's gonna disperse that quite a lot. So it's gonna protect your skin from penetration, but also that blunt force trauma. It's adjustable, so there's Velcro built in, so that gives you a little more flexibility if it's like winter and you're trying to stay warm and wear a jacket underneath or whatever. It also helps open it up to dry it. So that's the arm. The whole thing right now is it's an elk hide exterior, which is kind of the toughest commercial leather available. We'll work on a non-animal hide version later. So if that's your priority, we'll get there. And then it has the layer of Kevlar as well inside. There's reinforcement along the fingers and along the palm. And then we have this feature is maybe my favorite feature. we've added Velcro to a bite flap. But this bite flap gives you, first of all, more protection. So if you are going to take a bite on the fingers, it adds a layer of protection to your fingers without compromising dexterity. So you still have the same amount of freedom for your fingers, but it also gives you something sacrificial with the dog. So if you're just not quite sure like what's going to happen if I get too close, you're just trying to see like, is this animal going to bite me? This is a great way to find out because it's purely sacrificial. They can bite it. I mean, okay, so maybe we'll give you a little more time or space or whatever, try a different person, whatever, change our body position, what all the different behavioral things you do to change the scenario. You did so in a way that kept you safe throughout. And you learned that pretty important piece of information. And because the arm is so stiff, you can take your hand out of it. Like there's no hand in here right now. I can give him half of the glove with no hand in it, and I can just sort of extend that, and it looks like a human hand interacting with the dog.
Oh, I love that.
And because it's so stiff, you can also just throw a rubber band around it. So if you're going to clean it out and wash it, like drying a glove is not easy. Most gloves are very difficult to dry. This is going to be a lot easier because you can just keep that arm open.
Yeah.
So that's another like little thing that kind of makes a big difference. We do have size labeling on all of our handling gloves now. You can see that just says medium. You know what it means. That way, if you're in a congregate setting, which shelters are, then you've got a couple of each size or something. Like it gives you that little piece of information. There's a hanging tab on every glove, so you can hang it on the wall, so it's ready. It's where you need it to be. And there's kind of a backup label in here, so even after a lot of time, you can't see it, but there's a little medium sewn into the liner there.
Kathy's wondering if you've ever, if you would recommend these for handling cats.
No, this is not a cat glove. We really wanted a lot of dexterity for the hand, and cat teeth are going to go right through this amount of Kevlar and hide right through it.
Do you would recommend for cats?
It depends on what you're doing with a cat. So I mean, the way that I try to teach is that we want to avoid most situations where we're going to get bit, for one thing. So we want to increase the number of layers, like basically the amount of distance between our skin and the animal's mouth. And so we do that with a combination of glove and towel, or glove and towel and cage, or glove and cage, or like whatever mixture of these things. And we have the right number of layers between us and them, or potentially net, depending on circumstances. And so the gloves that are going to give you the most bite resistance from cats are bite buster gloves. I do have some over there. I didn't grab them for this scenario. That's going to give you the single most protection for direct contact. So for when you need to reach directly onto them. But if you add a towel or a blanket to most situations, then most gloves are going to be adequate, because then you're like layer of towel, layer of leather or non-leather, layer of Kevlar, and there's not much tooth left by the time your skin comes into the equation. So the two gloves that we've got right now that are ostensibly for like sort of general purpose cat handling, they're honestly not much thicker than this, but this is just crazy overkill for a cat. What we want for a cat glove usually is scratch resistance along the arm and then bite resistance along the hand. So this is the Bite Vanquisher Pro. We have the Bite Vanquisher will be here soon. It is just the hand part.
Okay.
So it's this glove, but it's all in black. It's reinforced along the forefinger and the palm. So you've got some extra protection there. It's got a pretty decent layer of Kevlar inside. And the
Did you send that one to me?
What's that?
Did you send me that one? Because I have it.
I think so.
Yeah, let me go see if I can find it. You can keep going.
Yeah, cool. The arm is like a jean material, so nothing stunning there, but a decent layer of Kevlar all the way up. So that's your sort of scratch resistance. So that's your general purpose glove, and the same features as the Praetorian. It's got the size labeling and the hanging tab, whatever. So that's kind of the general purpose. If you want the non-leather version of that glove, this is the Vanquisher Pro synthetic. So this is an all synthetic material. It's an artificial leather along the hands, reinforcement both sides of all fingers, Kevlar throughout. It's got this, I don't know what this material is, to be honest with you, but it's got all this sort of armoring that's been added to the fingers, and then an artificial leather along the arm and a layer of Kevlar up to the elbow as well. So really good dexterity, which is always the complaint. Like you can't feel what you're doing. So I've got. Let me grab one pair of bite busters. It'll take me less time than it took her.
Well, I had to go out to my car.
I'm just saying. It won't take very long because they're right there on that shelf.
Are these here the
What's that?
Oh, he might be the one that came to us from Arlington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
are you Autumn, are you asking a question or can I mute you? Or
Sorry.
No, you're
Mute,
fine.
please.
Okay.
This is a bite buster glove. So this is a little thicker. This is more of a direct
Okay.
contact kind of
Yeah.
cat glove.
Yeah.
But a lot less dexterity. I think this might be a large, not a medium, but just less dexterity. So I took feedback. I mean, I've been teaching this in some version or another since like 2010, and like on the road across really the world, and people won't wear gloves, like at least at the staff level. Like
Yeah.
your core audience is like switched on behavior people, I think. Like they're here in their spare time or whatever. Those people are the least difficult to get to wear the right safety tools for the most part. I'm paying you all a compliment. But getting like line staff, new staff, like people are really loath to wear gloves, especially if they can't feel what they're doing. They feel like it's a huge impediment to their work. So really tried to make gloves that feel good on your hand. And then there's a learning curve. Like I tell people, like they're not optional. In no other career field are gloves optional. And I mean, my best examples are veterinarian, not optional. You must wear gloves to do your job for everyone's safety. Doctor, another good example. A firefighter, it's not easier to fight fires with gloves on, but kind of essential for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So whatever career field you want to name, astronaut is a good one. Space cowboy, same category. It's just important that you wear the safety tool for your job, and this is our safety tool. So it's uncomfortable. We're working on that part as industry, and then you need to get comfortable wearing it because that's your job. That's down to like each organization. Like people need to get comfortable wearing them, so they've got to practice wearing them.
Yeah,
Right.
I was one of the things that John and I had talked about too was like as a woman in this field, it can be really hard to find gloves that fit. And while there's no women's specific sizes right now, the small I had gotten, not in this glove. Yeah, this is not the same glove. The smalls fit me really well, and I'm a women's medium typically. So if that gives you guys any insight into what size is, but I'm sure if you had any questions, you could contact John directly about sizing for gloves as well. But
Yeah, for sure. We try to do what is considered like the international sizing.
yeah.
We have these made actually in Pakistan, which is the #1 place that gloves are made in the world. So it's a fairly standardized international. Like they make all of the like FIFA World Cup like cleats and gloves and like all that kind of stuff. Like
Oh, that's wild. I don't know
yeah,
that.
all in one small town.
Cool. Well, I'm giving you a time check because it's 2, and I know you said you had to go at 2. So
yeah, we'll do this last glove. Maybe we'll quickly dig into this, and then I got to get my kids to the airport.
okay.
This is the Bite Boss. This is our sort of lowest end full length glove. So this is a pretty basic split grain leather exterior, still a layer of Kevlar throughout, a little bit of padding built in there as well. It's the lowest end of the range, but it's a good general purpose glove. It's less easy to disinfect because it's split grain. But with any of these for disinfecting, you want to remove all organic matter as normal using some sort of detergent, either Rescue or Dawn, something like that, and then Rescue. Ideally, like Rescue's not harsh to anything, so you can clean your leashes, your gloves, anything with Rescue. Soak it if you need to, just depending on what you think you've been exposed to. So keep that in mind, or have different gloves for different diseases. Like have gloves specifically for quarantine.
Rescue's harsh on my hands, but that's because I wasn't wearing gloves, you know. As
Well,
per
yeah.
our discussion about gloves.
Well, yeah, your hands are fairly organic. Yeah, so that's what we have in stock. I don't know if you saw that blue glove that Laurie had. That's on its way. I actually have none of them left here. So we have 2 models. That's the synthetic one, and then we have the leather version of the short glove that is specifically for like your average like play group, that type of thing, where bites might happen, but you just want a short glove.
Yeah.
Little bit of protection, something you can shove into your pocket.
I can't wait till he gets them because this is not in my size either. And I was like, I can't wait. But they're look how big it is. Like But what's really cool is how much dexterity there is in there. So I'm really looking forward, especially for play groups and dog intros, is where I use my handling gloves quite a bit. Because in play groups, if there's a dog fight, I want to keep my hands safe, and sometimes you do have to jump in and grab a leash. I never put my hands in between two dogs fighting. That's just something I'll just say right now. If I can get John back on here for a webinar, we'll probably talk a lot more about breaking up dog fights safely. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm also excited to see if I can utilize it doing behavior modification, because sometimes in the shelter, if I'm working with a dog who's a little tricky, I might want to have a little bit more protection on my hands, and so be interesting if I can grab the treats in my pocket, because that is something that
Mm.
could get challenging when I was doing VMOD in shelters, and when we had dogs who were designated as designated handler dogs, which was basically like a higher level staff only designation. We were required to wear gloves, which made grabbing small treats like this big when you're trying to do behavior modification relatively challenging. So the
Yeah, I
default.
can't promise we've solved that.
Oh yeah, I don't think you're gonna solve it, but I'd be
Yeah.
interested to try and just see what it looked like.
We can make gloves with no fingers on 2 fingers if you want. That's easy.
That would be cool. Chris is asking if you could.
Yes, I will ship to Canada.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
But the website won't do it. There's a quote feature built into the whole website. So you go to any product and just add to quote and then give me your address. Make sure it's a physical address and not a commercial address, or we have to use a customs broker and it'll cost you a lot more and be more difficult. So keep that in mind. Like a residential address is fine. And just use the quote feature for now. I'm trying to set that up, but I have a lot of products I can't ship to Canada, so it's very hard. It's the bane of my existence. So back to the glove thing. So yeah, the small gloves are just meant to be like it feels like a glove you would buy at a hardware store.
Mhm.
That was kind of the goal, but to add that layer of Kevlar, because tearing wounds are the most concerning. Like that's what we're really trying to resist the most. Teeth can go through most gloves if they're pushed hard enough, but a tearing wound is what will really mess you up.
Sorry, did you
And
say this has Kevlar in it?
that is Kevlar lined. Yeah.
Oh, that's that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
because my handling gloves are typically like I'm not pure, like just mechanics gloves, and they could bite
Right.
through this, easily. There's like
Right.
really not a lot of protection there, so I'm really jazzed to use those.
Yeah, it was important to me to have a glove that just
Yeah,
seemed like you could buy it from any store, but it actually has that Kevlar layer in it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's exciting.
All right, so I'm about out of time. My
Okay,
daughter's probably gonna come bang down the door in a minute.
okay.
He
Show us.
doesn't do lateness. I'm just gonna open a box of the multicolored muzzle movement. We're really excited to be the leading distributor. I think the only real distributor in the US. So this is the kit. This is what you get when you buy the 6-piece professional bundle. So it comes with the Harry Model 2, which I guess is a big deal. I haven't been
Yes.
following the full saga, but that's
Huge
the
deal.
shape that you want, and that's for most bully breeds, I think.
Yes.
At least the average bully breed. I've got a Taz, a Nelly, Sunny. I don't have them all memorized yet. Too many things in my life. Rex and Tolly, which was the original. I know the story of Tolly. It comes
Yes.
with a set of extra straps, like wider nose straps. And just like there's a few different pieces of hardware, so you kind of make some different adjustments. There's at least one quicker disconnect buckle that comes with it. So if you got like one size that you're using the most of, you can fit that onto it and get it on and off more quickly.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you don't know about these, like they're so well made and they're really designed for the animal's welfare, and also designed to sort of break the stigma of a dog in a muzzle. Like it's not a bad dog; it's just a dog who
Yeah.
is either they're going to benefit or others will benefit from having a
Yeah.
muzzle.
Here, I just brought my friend. This is like Laurie's magic trailer of things. I just wanted to show folks, the reason that I fell in love with these was because they do have this really wide fit for the pit bull's
Yeah,
wide cheeks. And while I don't have a pit bull stuffed dog, you can kind of see from here, just like kind of how wide it goes over the face. And so that goes back to like their cheeks. So you know how if you're trying to fit usually a Baskerville muzzle on a dog in a shelter, it usually doesn't give them enough pant room, or it doesn't fit on their face properly. So yeah, so these are awesome for that, and it gives full pant room to the dog. You can see how much room there is from the bridge of the nose down to the bottom of the
yeah.
muzzle. So and they're light. They're incredibly light. So yeah,
And strong. They're
and strong.
unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
You can boil them and change their shape. So if there's something wrong with the exact shape for a
Yeah.
particular dog, you can literally boil it and then shape it. Use caution when doing so. There are some YouTube videos. So these are muzzle movement. I think I saw Kathy had asked a question.
Yeah.
These are UK made, basically from trainers from Dogs Trust, who, when the UK passed legislation that banned most, or maybe all, bully breeds, you can't get a new one, and if you have one, it has to be muzzled at all times in public. And so there's such a need for muzzles, and yet so much stigma around muzzles, and just not a thing that allows dogs to be themselves. Yeah, you can look at muzzle movement there, but buy them from
Yeah.
humaneinnovations.com.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say all the sizes are kind of laid out there, but you know, they do ship from the UK, so it's more expensive, and John has them here in the US ready
Yeah,
to ship.
they do ship free.
And are you doing individuals, like if folks want to buy just one
Yes.
size? Okay, you
Yeah.
are. Okay,
So
great.
I only have 2 colors listed as individual. It's a difficult thing to stock because there are so many colors and variations. And I basically need like $100,000 worth of muzzles to have all of the different fitments. I'm not there yet. I have 3 colors of the professional bundles. I have the khaki green, teal, and multicolor. So this is the khaki green, if you're wondering. This is the teal. So you get a set of 6 of this, set of 6 of this, or a mix of 6 colors.
Mm-hmm.
I have broken up the teal and the khaki, and I'm selling those as individual muzzles as well.
Cool.
If there's other things that you need, like I'm basically going to respond to market pressure. Like if people want specific things, I'll start to stock them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With that, I got to get going. This has
Okay.
been great.
Sure.
I hope everybody learned something.
Yeah, I'm
If-
gonna stick on for just about 5 more minutes and show them Barry's break sticks because I'm very familiar with that product, and I can
yeah,
get
great.
for you guys too. And
They'll be in black soon.
yes, yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for coming on, John. And I know I'm really looking forward to having you on the webinar series to talk a little bit more about you know, not only your products and all of that, but also help us understand like some of the ways that you've implemented less stressful, less scary practices in trapping and
Yeah.
killing and all that stuff. I think you just have the coolest story, and you know, your passion shows through your products and also just conversations I've had with you. So I think that your story is really worth sharing to my audience because you've been all over the world and I had no idea
Yeah.
you were. And I feel like there's probably other people out there that have never heard your story, and I really would love my anybody watching and folks in sheltering to hear it. So thank you.
Yeah, my passion is empowering people in this industry to make
Me too.
decisions that they can feel good about.
Yeah,
When you have very few options and you have very difficult animals, that's not a great feeling.
no,
The more
it's not.
choices you've got, the better you can do. So yeah,
Absolutely.
we can talk about trapping indoors and netting indoors and all sorts of alternatives to control pole use. There's almost never a reason to use a control pole in a shelter. Like there are a lot of alternatives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm like I haven't even actually I've used a control pole I think twice in my career.
Yeah.
And you know, I know that that takes skill and understanding the tools and what you have at your disposal and what shelter resources you have. But I think the more education, the more people know, the less we will stress dogs out and the better the
Yeah.
outcomes are. So
For
thank you.
sure. Yeah. And one of the main models that I try to use with the training whenever it's fiscally possible is I have the organization I work with them to get them a bunch of alternative tools. They buy them in advance. And then when I show up, we teach them how to use the alternatives.
Mm.
And then by the time we're done with the training and maybe some field time with them or shelter time with them, like it's layered in. So they're really comfortable with using these different tools.
Awesome.
And that's a great way to get over the hump of like stuck with what we have now to what the possibilities are.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's what I'll be doing next week in Cabot,
Cool.
Arkansas.
We'll have
So
fun.
all right. Well, thank you everybody. And we'll be in touch soon. You can
All right.
always get me at john@humaneinnovations.com. You can email me anytime.
Yeah, I'll get your information in the comments too before everybody leaves. So
Cool.
thank you. We'll see
All
you
right.
later.
I'll
Yeah.
take a second and shut this down.
All
Thanks
right.
everybody.
Yeah. You guys stick around. I'll get John's information for you, but I just wanted to show, where did I put them? I'm going to show you. There they are. All right. So I just wanted to show you guys Barry's break sticks. I actually made cute, colorful handles on mine. I don't know, I'm Laurie. But basically, these are made out of cutting board. When I was deploying and working with contracted with the ASPCA and traveling as a lead, I was all the leads of the departments were required to carry these on them because we did work with a lot of dogfighting populations. And I have unfortunately had to use a brake stick a couple times, and these are really, really awesome. They're super sturdy. Barry makes them out of cutting board. Barry is actually Trish McMillan's ex-husband, and so he started actually making them for Trish when she worked for the ASPCA, and then he has continued to make those. So when I worked there, everybody had one, and it works really well. It's strong. It's just a tool that is, I've seen all the different store-bought versions that they have. Actually, John was laughing because I have one here for some reason. I kept it. I actually took this from a shelter that I went to and swapped it with one of Barry's because this is egregiously long. I don't know what kind of dog you might use this on. So yeah, so these are the brake sticks that I use. And like I said, I've had to use a brake stick about 3 times in my career, and I think that they're great. So when I met John, I encouraged him to carry these products. So he has them now on the website as well. And then instead of using, it comes with vet wrap, and I took the vet wrap off and used a tennis racket tape because the rubber is a little bit better for me. I have tiny hands, so I was able to kind of bolster the handle out just a little bit. John said he might actually do that. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys those because that's something else I helped John kind of get onto the website and get out there as a product for shelter folks. We're working on coming up with a dogfight kit for play yards. We're also talking about some special dog play yard like belts that can carry some of the safety tools, so you can keep yourself safe and also have tools readily available to you instead of having to run over to a box. So that's really fun. I'm really excited about this partnership with John because all of my clients can get a 10% discount on anything from his website. So I did put the link in the comments section. If you go to humaneinnovations.com/discount/lawless, it automatically applies that discount for you. So, but again, if you wanted to get anything in bulk, I can hook you up directly with John, and yeah, you guys can order the things you need for your shelter. So I have to end it here. Yeah, the fight kit is a great idea. You guys would be maybe shocked or not. I don't know how many shelters I go to and their safety tools are kind of spread out, or maybe they have a fight kit in the yard, but they don't have an area for like storage of toys and other things. So everybody starts just like, so I go to look at their fight kit and it's also filled with like rope toys and tennis balls and other things. So in a true emergency, you'd have to dig through to find the actual tool. So it's really, really, really important you have a designated fight kit and your storage areas are different. So we're working on putting something together for that eventually. So yeah, we'll keep you posted, and I hope you guys join me whenever I get John's schedule in mind to coordinate to have him on a webinar. And if you need anything at any time, just let me know. I am going to be dropping the dog membership, I'm sorry, the Pathway Playgroup mentorship that is going to be starting on August 15th and will carry through until September 4th. So that is going to be dropped, I think, later today or tomorrow. Brittany is working on getting all of it together. We were having an issue with the auto emails that were going to go out. So yeah, I'm really excited. Again, thank you again for joining today, and happy and safe sheltering, and keep good, just have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Toodles.